Blind Bankers of India, from Blind Bankers of India, myself Nishant, welcome all of you in today's English class. We have with us Dr. Ashwini sir, who will guide us today, and the Jigar sir, who is working in State Bank of India. He is going to play the role of student in today's lecture. So I welcome Dr. Ashwini Agarwal sir to start today's class.
Thank you, Nishanji, and thanks to Raza, who is assisting us in the technical aspects also. So, Blind Bankers of India YouTube channel, I welcome all the viewers. This is yet another class. We are going to discuss about human resource management, and it's going to be the part 2, and it's going to be in English. With us, we have Mr. Jigar from State Bank of India. He's going to play the role of student today. So, how are you, Mr. Jigar?
Fine, sir. Good evening, sir.
A very good evening,
And
Jigar.
good evening, all viewers of Blind Bakers of India.
You enjoy Blind Bankers of India group?
Yes, sir.
Has it helped you?
Yes, it has helped a lot in recent lectures, these recent classes.
And the WhatsApp group is also very helpful, right?
Yes, sir. WhatsApp group is ongoing kind of process. Like we get solution at daily basis. We can get solution for our issues.
So Blind Bankers of India is with that vision only, so that we are all empowered and we continuously develop ourselves. So friends, we start with human resource management, which is module C of paper 1 in CAIIB, which is a mandatory paper. And in this part 1, we have already discussed about what is human resource management, how it differs from HRD, how it is different from personnel management, what are the different theories of motivation, what all is covered in human resource management. Now in part 2, we're going to discuss about the importance of feedback that we take as an HRM, as an expert. We take the feedback from the staff, and what are the different ways of taking feedback, what is the impact, and what is the compensation, how the compensation is determined, what are the different methods of evaluating compensation, what is the job, what is the job analysis, and what is job description, what is job specification. So we're going to also discuss about that is regarding appraisal, performance appraisal, which is inevitable and very important. So these are the things we're going to cover in the part 2, and then we shall continue in part 3 in the next week class. So, Jigar,
Yes,
you
sir.
must have read about human resource management in part 1. So today we're going to discuss about employee feedback.
Yes,
So
sir.
human resource managers who are expert in the area of human resource management, it is their responsibility to continuously take feedback about their policies, procedures, and what are the things they are doing. And they want to understand whether the employees are satisfied, whether the employees are motivated, whether the employees are happy about the HRM policies that have been put forward. For any organization, human resource is very, very important. So why does human resource management experts take feedback from the staff? Okay. What you have to say? Why do they take the feedback?
They take a feedback in order to know perception of their employee, because the process should be reciprocal. Like what employee thinks about their organization, their processes, how they want to be included, how they want to be work in organization. Like that needs to be come from employee as also. So at, if feedback would be taken, then it would be kind of two. Like process from to both the sides. So that is why I need to do.
Absolutely. And when they take the feedback, they fine tune their policies based on the feedback that they get from the employees. They fine tune, they can improve their policies, procedures, whatever they are doing. So one of the methodology that they do is called climate survey. One of the method to take the feedback, it's called climate survey. So this is very important for the examination point of view. Should be clear what is for a climate survey. So climate survey is a methodology to get the feedback from the employees. And this climate surveys are two types. One is formal, second is informal. So information is collected regarding the attitude of the personnel towards the policies, then they further find out what is the perception that they have regarding the policies, and accordingly they fine tune their policies to meet the requirement of the organization, so that the organization is effectively managed, people are happy, they have initiative, and continuously work towards the goal of the organization. The fine tuning of the human resource policy has to be done from time to time. So there are designated questionnaires. There are already designed questionnaires which are available in the market that HRM experts may use. And there are also certain questionnaires that they can design. So there are two types of instruments to collect the information. One is already they are well designed, available. Second is customized. So what are the two types of instruments that are used?
One is available in market, predefined questionnaires available in market, designated predefined question in market, and another is tailor-made customized questionnaires uh, uh, which can be formulated as per the organization's specifications.
Excellent. So employees, whether the employees are giving suggestions or not, whether the employees have any uh, are they unhappy about the policies, etc., this information is collected through these climate surveys. And the information that is collected by telling the employees to fill the forms which are there, the climate forms which are designed by them, and when they fill the forms, they are discussed with the employees. It is very important to discuss the forms, what is the outcome of the entire exercise, so that employee feels involved, employee feels importance. And second thing is, more the involvement, more the commitment. And second methodology, the informal method, is they discuss, HRM experts, what they do is they discuss with the representatives of the employees, some representatives, and they discuss the managers. They see the behavior of staff, managers, and they also observe what are their patterns. So based on those patterns, based on their behaviors, they collect the information on the observation basis. On those observation basis, they decide whether the people are happy with the whatever the policies they have put forward. And if they are happy, fine. If they are not happy, it is important for the HRM people to redesign, to retune, and to see to it that they make their policies effective. So these are climate surveys. So you got the idea? Okay. Now we come to another point. Examination is SCHUSTER, Schutzer. SCHUSTER, Schutzer, in 1982. He conducted surveys, and these are called Human Resource Index. So Human Resource Index were conducted by Schutzer. Okay. So their objective was again to understand the perception of employees, and they help to give an insight as to the policies of human resource management, what are the policies and their practicality, and they gave suggestions how they can improve the human resource policies which they have designed. So this is very important from the point of view Human Resource Index given by Schutzer. Next, second thing we have to understand is climate survey includes, what all does it include? This is a very important area that for assessment of perception, what are the things that they include? So the first thing is structure of the organization, what the employees feel about the structure. That is, what sort of group dynamics that is there in the organization, the roles that they have been assigned, the regulations they have been given, the procedures which have been laid, the communication process that is laid, the decision-making process that is there in the organization, and the power delegation system that is there. So these are all related to the structure, whether the structure is good or bad. Human resource management deals with everything in the organization. So whether the structure of the organization is in the right direction, so they have to understand. So what do we understand by structure of the organization, for which HRM takes a feedback, Jigar?
like like a structure refers to the like how various group dynamic take place within organization, how various like people
Rules
functions,
and regulations,
yes, yeah, within organization,
procedure is
procedures,
there, communication is there,
communication is there. So
decision
how,
making is there, delegation
yes,
is there.
delegation is there.
Second area which this climate survey take care is responsibility. The first was structure, second is
Responsibility.
responsibility. What they feel, whether they feel that they have the ability to take decision, can they give suggestions, so are they clear about their roles, do they feel that they are the boss of their seat, do they feel that it is their own responsibility, they know how to deal with their seniors and juniors. So these are the things which are very important regarding responsibility. So responsibility primarily talks about feeling
And
of whether they
feeling
can
of
take their own decision.
how they can take their own decisions, their responsibilities, how they can delegate their authority, and like how they can be boss of their own seat, like in, managing, like decision making, and being
That
responsible for the various causes within organization.
and clarity of their role.
Uh,
Next,
Clarity of the
next
role.
is the reward. Yeah, next
Reward.
is the reward. So first was structure,
Structure. Second was
second was
responsibility,
responsibility, and
and
now
third
third
is
is
reward.
reward. What did they feel? Sort of encouragement that is there. If somebody does good, he gets a letter of appreciation. How do they feel about it? In case somebody does a mistake, if he's put any penalty, what do they feel about it? What the promotion policy? What do they feel about the promotion policy? Do they feel that the interviews which are conducted in the organization are fair, justified? So the reward system is in order. That is what HRM people look into, whether people feel that the reward system is right or it needs improvement. Accordingly, they work on. So what does reward includes?
Reward includes like what they feel about various rewards they like get.
Whatever the encouragement that they are getting, whether the promotion policy is a fair play. So next is risk. So after reward, next that is the HRM people looks into the risk. Risk taking, whether they are encouraged to take the risk. Are they have the courage to take the risk? So these are the aspects which HRM people look into. Do people take their decision and take the risk? If they are ready to take the risk, they have the strength to do that. That means HRM policies are in the right direction. So Jigar, what does risk imply? Okay, risk implies, I think we are not getting his voice. So risk primarily implies the ability to take decision for them with the next is warmth.
Am I
Warmth
audible,
is
sir?
the
Sorry, it was.
now you're audible.
Yes, sir.
So you understand what is risk? You could hear me?
Yes, sir. Now, sir, could you just repeat, sir? Sorry.
So risk is primarily the ability to take your own decision which can have the impact,
Yes,
the risk
yes.
taking capacity of the individual. If it is
Individual.
good, then that means HR policies are in the right direction.
Right.
If the people are not taking decisions, they are not taking ready to take risks, then that means HR policy needs to be relooked into.
Relocate.
Right.
Yes.
Next is warmth.
Yes.
Warmth is the feeling of belongingness.
Yes, sir.
Do they feel that their organization is their own? Do they participate in the social groups? So these are the things regarding warmth. So HR people look into it. There should be warmth in the organization. So through the climate survey, they find out whether the warmth is there in the people or it is missing. Next is support. Support is they look into it whether the staff feels that whenever they need anything, they are being supported by the management. See, like blind persons, if they need jaws, they need computers, they need any support, if they seek for it, they are getting it well in time. So this is the responsibility of HR people to find out in human resource management, are employees finding themselves being helped as and when they ask for it, right? You can hear me, Jigal? Fine. So we continue with the class further on. That is, next is standards. Standards, we understand the goals and performance standards. Whatever the standards have been laid in the organization, they are acceptable. Are the standards such like a branch, if the growth is fixed for say 30% growth and the scope of business growth is there, then it's fine. If somebody puts a standard of 100% growth in the business, so that is something employees may not be acceptable. They may not feel that is feasible. So that is very important that HR people have to look into is the standards. Next is conflict. HR people have to look whether the managers are ready to listen to their juniors, their different opinions, the diversity of opinions that is there, the new ideas that they float. So if the there is a good communication between them and everybody listens into, if there are diverse opinions and they listen to each other and draw a consensus, then they would say the conflict climate is good, their conflict is missing. If there are too much of conflict, nobody is ready to listen, then HR policies have to be designed in such a way that the listening improves. They are given training, they are made empathetic, they are made understanding for each other. Next is identity, the feeling of belongingness, and they identify themselves with the organization. Do they feel proud to identify themselves with their organization, whatever the organization they are working? So it is HR policy always designed in such a way that the people are ready to identify themselves. So these surveys look into all these aspects and the feedback is given to the HR people, and these surveys are conducted from time to time so that the policies can be fine-tuned. This will also help us to know the trend, that is the attitude of the employees, the level of excitement that is there in the employees, the level of satisfaction that is there, the level of enthusiasm that is there, whether there is they should ensure that the frustration is not there. They don't want to leave the organization, they want to continue with the organization. If all things are positive, then it is called the climate is favorable. And these are negative in the attitude is that they don't want to continue with the organization, or they are finding themselves suffocated, they are not ready to give suggestions, they are not ready to innovate, they are not ready to flexible, and they find frustrated. These are unfavorable climates. So HRM people have always worked towards making the environment which is stress free, which is looking forward, which is flexible. So always a favorable climate has to be created by HR people. So these are the some of the things that we have to understand while we have to see that HR people will make the favorable climate and work towards creating a favorable climate so that people are problem solving, so people are loyal, people are cooperative, people are motivated, people are they want a high quality production, they are always giving a good customer service. So this is all about climate survey that is conducted, that is employee feedback. Now we go to the next section of HRM that we are going to cover in this thing, and that is rewards and compensations. So when an employee works for an organization, there has to be a reward system. There has to be a compensation system. So we need to match what the employees are they're whatever they are extending, the services they are extending, they need to be given a matched amount of remuneration and compensation so that they are motivated to continue to work hard, whatever the hard work they put in. So it has to be suitably rewarded, and this reward is known as the compensation. So there are different types of compensation which are there. These are wages, salaries, and remunerations. So in these organizations, they are given, these include bonuses, the allowances, insurance, Provident Fund contribution, and host of other support systems by which they form the part of the compensation package for people. We can broadly divide the jobs into four categories. And the first category is the managerial jobs, where the purpose is where you give a vision, you give a dream, you put things together and see the organization, the people are moving in the right direction. Managers are compensated with the word that is used is called remuneration. Whatever compensation managers are given, that is called remuneration. This is very important for the examination, right, Jigar? So second thing, that is supervisory staff. Supervisory staff is given salary. So managers are given? What is the compensation to the manager? Remuneration. What is the compensation for supervisory? Salary. What is the compensation for clerical? It is again clerical and administration. Again, it is salary.
Yes.
Right? For clerical and administration, again it is salary. And for skilled, semi-skilled, and unskilled workers, it is wages. Yes. So there are three compensation. Remuneration is given to whom?
Managers and executives.
Managers. Salary is given to whom?
Supervisors and officials.
Absolutely, administrators and clerical. And wages are given to whom?
Skilled, semi-skilled, and highly skilled workers.
Excellent. Very good. What is the basis for deciding the compensation? That's we need to understand. So the compensation that is given depends on different factors. The first is company objective. Second is market. What are the market conditions that are there? What are the market rates that are there? And third is internal and external situation, pressures that are there. So there are three factors that determine the salary. What is the company's policy? Second is what is the market resources, their market rates and market situation. And third is internal and external pressures that are there on the organization. So some of the companies, they have a policy to pay high because they want to attract some very talented people. In case your company is such where you have to attract very talented people and you don't need very many. And the policy is such that they want to get hold of the best talent, they have to pay them high.
Yes.
So cost benefit analysis is done by taking the most talented one. Second type of companies, they are not bothered about too much of, they are primarily focused on the work. So obviously their salaries are average, and others are doing the cost benefit analysis and accordingly managing. Second is regarding market rates. So what are the market rates? Based on the market rates, they based on the market rate means based on the demand and supply
within the market, like
what
other organizations are paying same in like what other organization in same sectors is paying, maybe
based on that the salaries and wages are determined. And another area is where there are trade unions. where there are trade unions, there are pressures from inside. And second thing is there are laws by the government to give a minimum wages act is there. So in that cases, the suitable amount of compensation has to be given. As regarding compensation theory, what they talk about is compensation can broadly be divided into three based on the needs. The first is the minimum wages. Some of the organizations, they give only the minimum wages. These wages only help the employees to sustain and meet their social needs, very, very basic social needs. Second is fair wages, right? So in fair wages, it is between minimum and capacity of the organization. Like capacity of the organization is to pay much more, but still they give more than the minimum wages, but better than the
fair wages, minimum wages.
yeah. And third is need wages, where because of the pressures of different factors, the wage level is reasonably high. So because of the protection and other aspects, the wages are slightly high. Now I'm going to talk about various laws that have been enacted from time to time so that the fair wages are given to the employees. In 1936, Government of India had passed the Payment of Wages Act. In the year 1936, Payment of Wages Act. The Payment of Wages Act is timely payment of wages act. Certain date is there by which the wages have to be paid. It has to be paid monthly compensation. So their policies of the law is very clear about this thing that is called Payment of Wages Act. In 1948, after our independence, we had the Minimum Wages Act. Government announces the minimum wages that must be paid. So each state government, depending on the area, depending on the cost of living, they announce the minimum wages for skilled, semi-skilled, and unskilled workers, and no establishment is allowed to pay less than the minimum wages. So anybody who breaks the law, accordingly, they can be prosecuted into the law. Then is in 1965, that is Payment of Bonus Act. So those employees who are in the labor category, they have the right to get the bonus. So Payment of Bonus Act came in the year 1965. 1976, Equal Remuneration Act came into existence. That means earlier there was for women the remunerations were less, and for men the remunerations were more. So in 1976 they came the equal pay for equal jobs. For the same job,
equal pay for the equal job.
So these were the laws that were conducted by the Government of India from time to time so that the compensation policies are rationalized. So till this point, you have understood what are the things?
Yes, sir.
Can you just brief what you have got regarding who is paid what? Managers are paid?
Managers are paid remuneration. Then officers, supervisors, and clerks are paid salary. And semi-skilled, skilled, and highly skilled workers are given wages.
Okay, and these are of wages are of three types. Minimum, fair,
of three types:
and need-based.
Minimum, fair, and need-based. Minimum refers to the minimum wages at like minimum required or daily required as per daily requirement and that kind of cost. Then fair wages, which is above minimum and just below like what organization can pay. And need-based wages, which are due to external pressures, unions, and other efforts, which maximum organizations can pay to their employees.
Absolutely. Next is these compensation is based on job evaluation. What compensation will be given to whom? Like managers, the payments are higher. Supervisory, slightly lesser than the managers. Managers are paid higher than the supervisor. Then last is the skilled and semi-skilled. Their payment is less than the salary. So what are the factors that determine why those in the supervisory they have a higher pay and those with the managerial they have still higher pay? This is all because of job evaluation. In job evaluation, what it does is we determine, we need to have those who have more experience, they are paid more. Where the higher skills are required, they are paid more. Where the job risk is more, where they have to take risky decisions they have to take, they are paid more. Where the responsibility is more, they are paid more. Where the value of the job that they do, they are expert in that, specialized into certain jobs, there the payment is more. So these are the factors that will do determine the compensation rates, right? So what are the factors that determine what should be the compensation?
It determines with the risk level, with the responsibility level, decision making level, how in terms of workers, semi skill, and like how risk they are taking. So these are the major factors.
So the entire thing is called job evaluation. So job evaluation has three parts. Job evaluation has three parts. One is job analysis, second is job description, and third is job specification. In job analysis, what HRM people do is they list what are the jobs to be done, right?
Yes.
Then there is a job analysis. Job analysis is listing the job. Then is job description. Right? So in job description, what they tell is what are the qualifications that would be required, right? What are the qualifications would be required to do that job? And then you give job specifications. Then based on those job specifications, the people are appointed. And based on these three things, job evaluation is done and the value of remuneration is set. So so you got the things.
Yes, sir.
So based on skill, based on risk, the remunerations are depend. If the job is more hazardous, the responsibility is more, the compensation is more. Higher the risk, higher the level, higher the requirement of qualifications, higher the experience, higher the supervisory responsibilities, higher the decision making capacity, the compensation would be higher. Right? Got it? Clear hai yahan tak?
Yes.
Next, we go to aspect is okay. Let me go ahead with this thing. This is done. Now we're going to have there are jobs where the compensation policies they can be divided into three types. Okay, compensation can be of three types. First is fixed, right?
Yes,
second is variable, and third is mixed. In fixed, what happens is for a job, the salaries are fixed. Second is variable. In variable, as the production, it is linked to the production. It is linked to the performance.
Performance. Yes.
So it is piecemeal system, where in the factory, the more you produce, the more salary would be there. The less you produce, the less salary would be there. In the first system, in the fixed salary system, the motivation to produce more is missing. The motivation to produce more is missing. But in the second system, in the variable system, if there is a problem in the machine, if the systems are not working properly, so the worker wants to produce more. Because of the restrictions in the machine and things available, he's not even in a position to produce more. So if we pay him less, so this is not fair. So under the circumstances, because there was certain shortcoming in the fixed rate.
Breaking, sir.
Okay. Now is it clear? Hello?
Hello. Yes.
If निशान जी, just एक मिनट, वॉइस मेरी आ रही है ठीक? ओके,
अब आ रही है सर.
अभी अब आ रही है. ओके. So
सर इसमें जो सेकंड पार्ट था ना, सेकंड पार्ट में लाइक इन वेरिएबल, इन विद इन वेरिएबल लाइक उस like
yeah, in variable, in case the machine is not working properly, the production would be less. When the production would be less, the payment would be less.
Yes.
Right? So the worker, it's no fault of worker. When why should he be paid less?
Yes,
so what was the result? They came with a mixed compensation policy, where certain percentage of salary is fixed and certain is linked to the performance. Okay? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
In traditional wages, in banks, we have the traditional wage system where the HRM is given, DA is given, CCA is given. But in private sector, what we have is called cafeteria. This is very important in examination. That's called cafeteria word, CAFETERIA. And another word that is important is menu. This is also called menu option. This is also called menu option. There is a concept called cost to company. When they conduct an interview or when they recruit a person, they tell him, say the cost to the company is say 6 lakh rupees. For example, I'm just giving an example. For the cost to the company is 6 lakh rupees a year. So they will tell the employee to decide what way he wants. The employee decides what will be his basic, what will be his HRA, whatever he wants, what way he wants to have the compensation company. So this process, which is there in the private sector, it's called cafeteria, or it is also called menu option. This is very important for examination point of view. So cafeteria system is existent in where? Public sector or private sector?
Private sector.
It is in private sector. So cafeteria refers to for
like
employees.
how
There's a cost. Yeah.
Yes, there is cost to company, and like in terms of like as per the assessment years, like they can decide like how much they can plan their tax deductions, like by choosing
Absolutely.
what they will be getting as HRA, what they will be getting as their city compensatory and basic. It's like it is up to the employee decision.
Absolutely. Okay. Salary in banks. Now I'm going to discuss about salary in banks. With the coming of the unions, with the union movement, there was a lot of debate between the owners of the banks before the privatization. The union said banks have the capacity to pay. And the bank said, okay, we have the capacity to pay, but the wages should be as per the market conditions. So the dispute was given to the tribunals. So that's called Shastri Award or a Desai Award. Shastri Award or Desai Award, which was given. So there was a situation which came whenever there was a dispute between the staff and the management. They did not decide. It was the third party which decided. It is a third party which decided what should be the remuneration, compensation. This was another method which started in banking. Now what is there in banking is called bipartite settlement. In bipartite settlement, it is IBA on the one side, Indian Bankers Association, which represents the government's point of view, and there are the trade unions. So bipartite means two parties. So they sit down and decide, and what should be the compensation, and whatever is decision taken once both sign it, that is applicable for 5 years. So this is very important examination for examination point of view. What was the system when the unions came into existence? And the system was, it was decided by the tribunals. Okay. And what are the examples of tribunals? Shastri Award and
Shastri Award, Desai Award.
Desai Award. Then now what is the present system? There is a, what sort of settlement it is there nowadays?
Bipartite settlement.
So what are the two parties?
IBA, which represents government and bank management, and various federations like unions and their like federations at national level.
So once a bipartite agreement is signed, for how many years this is applicable?
5 years.
Absolutely. So these are the questions which will be there in your examination. So this ends this chapter for compensation. Now the next chapter we're going to take up is performance. No organization can sustain without assessing the performance of their employee. According to Flippo, there is no choice. There's no choice for the organization. They have to do performance appraisal. There's no option. Without performance appraisal, you cannot run an organization. So in HRM, there's a policy, there should be a reasonable fear. If there is too much of fear, then the results are bad. And if it's too less of fear, then again the result is bad. So HRM policy has to be designed in such a way that they assess the performance and they motivate. And according to McGregor, the purpose of performance, there are three purposes. First is the judgment. The need for the performance is first to make the judgment. And judgment for what? What salaries are to be paid, when the people are to be transferred, who has to be promoted. All these judgments can only be made when there is a performance appraisal. So what is the first need that is there for performance appraisal? Judgment. And judgment for what?
Like
salaries.
Salaries decided, like it should decide salaries, transfers,
and promotions. Second purpose of performance appraisal is development. To strengthen the organization, to strengthen the behavior, to strengthen the attitude, to strengthen the skills of the employees, performance appraisal is very necessary. Once you understand with the performance appraisal, you understand what the needs of employees are so that they become a better contributor. It is very important to do performance appraisal. So the second purpose of performance appraisal is development. So with HRM experts, they always want that their human resource should continuously develop. Third is feedback. And feedback is to give the necessary counseling so that the HRM people are able to understand the needs of the organizations, the need of the individuals, and they are continuously helping the organization to grow. So to make an organization an effective organization. So what is the overall objective of an organization?
To develop employees in terms of their contribution. Like there are.
So what is the purpose is to increase the efficiency of the organization continuously. This is a very important.
Yes.
Second thing is performance appraisal also helps in to determine the inventory, what are the people required. So what are when the increments are to be given, how the group development can be encouraged. So all these things form the part of the performance appraisal. So performance appraisal also is a very important aspect, is it gives a standard method to compare the employees. How can you say that Mr. A is better than Mr. B? How can you say it? So there has to be a standard parameter. So it's only with performance appraisal you get the standard parameter. Okay? Second thing is you get a critical information about the performance. What are the critical aspects that are required? They are KRAs called, key result areas. So this critical information about the employee helps to identify how the reward system is there, is fair or not. Third thing is training and corrective measures. If performance appraisal is there, so you can decide what sort of training needs to be imparted. So what are the corrective measures need to be done as an HR expert? Then another area that is important is better supervision. So you can have a better supervision if there is a performance appraisal. You know somebody is watching you. So obviously your supervision would be better. Next is relations.
Sir, can you just
Next is relations. If performance appraisal is there, you can have a better relations. So by giving a better performance appraisal, you can always encourage people to do better. So these are the important things by 5D appraisal. Now we're going to discuss about the 6 steps in evaluation. For evaluation, 6 steps needs to be done, right? Performance evaluation, 6 steps needs to be done. First is settling standards. As a performance appraisal, what you have to do is set standards. Okay. Okay, these is the thing are there, your punctuality is there, dress hai, behavior hai, customer service hai, number of complaints, number of resolution, number of suggestions, number of improvements. So you set standards, standardized marks for different aspects. Second thing is communicating. These standards have to be communicated to the employees. Okay, your performance appraisal will be done at the end of the year, and these are the parameters on which you would be there. These are the targets, how much targets you have achieved, all these things. Third is measuring. These forms are given to the employees, then they fill the form and they do the necessary measurement. Then they set standards, benchmarks. 4. So there are certain. Fourth step is creating benchmarks. Okay, these are if you have done better than this thing, then you have this much marks. If you have done this better. Fifth is deviations. If there are certain deviations, so they are given counseling. So fifth is if there are any deviations upon performance appraisal, if there are any deviations, so they are suitably counseled. The purpose is not to criticize the person. The purpose is to improve. And last point, the 6th point is to take corrective steps so that the organization, the policies are in the right directions. So these are the 6 steps that has to be done for performance appraisal. Got it?
So setting standards and communicating them to the employees, like communicating, measuring standards, setting benchmarks, and if there is like deviations, if there is a deviation, then it should be come to the notice. It should, and last one is corrective measures, like which
absolutely. Right. Okay. So we will quickly go through the entire thing. I will just ask you, you keep answering. Okay. Yes. Why employee feedback is necessary?
It is necessary to
to understand the perception.
Yes, to understand the perception of the employees. Yes.
What are climate surveys?
Climate surveys are done, like are being conducted in order to know employees' perception about the organization, how they can be part of decision making within the organization, how can they can be.
So climate surveys are structured questionnaires. Questionnaires.
Yes.
So they are structured, yes, or this thing customized structures. Yes. to collect the information, right? And then there is an informal way of collecting information, that is by interviewing and observing.
Yeah, like there are two, like in terms of like formal way and informal way. Informal, like in terms of formal way, there is a structural tools available which can like kind of questionnaire type, and another informal way by which HR managers consults to the various representatives. They observe group dynamics, they observe employee feedback, their conversations.
Fine. Now, Shutzer, what did Shutzer do for this thing climate survey? What is called human resource index. ठीक है? So this was now climate survey के अंदर जो चीजें important हमने study करी थी, structure, policy decisions जितना भी है, design,
policy decision, design.
ठीक है? Second is responsibility. ठीक है? Feeling of the ability that you are your own boss.
Yes, feeling of ability you are your own boss.
Next was reward. What did they feel of the awards promotion policy that is there, right?
Yes.
Then there was risk. In risk, what we did was whether they take decision or not. Okay. Then next is warmth. Next is warmth. They involve into social activities. Next is support. Support is they feel that the management is giving them support or not. Next is standards. Standards is for performance. Standards are. Next is conflict. Managers listening to the diverse opinion. Okay. Next is identity. They want to identify themselves with the organization. Okay. So surveys are conducted to continuously improve the system. So climate could be favorable or unfavorable. So always HR people work towards making the climate favorable. Okay. What are the three types of compensations? These are rewards, remuneration, salary, and wages. So we know remuneration are given to
managers.
Absolutely, and salaries are given to
officers, supervisors, and clerks.
And definitely, and wages are given to
and highly skilled workers.
Okay, these compensations based on the job level, qualifications through job evaluation, right? And job evaluation has three parts. These are
job analysis, job specification, and job description.
Okay, based on these, the rates and the compensations are determined. Okay, so these are the things we all studied. Then we also studied that the wage structure is fixed, variable
and
mixed. So fixed, the motivation is missing. Variable, it has its limitation, not applicable in service industry. And mixed is what? Which is mostly being practiced. Okay. So what is cafeteria?
It is a cafeteria which is which is practiced in a private sector by which employee can choose their various components of within a salary, how much they want to draw as a HRA, how much they would like to draw as a basic and city compensatory. It is up to them. Like there is a cost involved to the company. So
absolutely. Okay. In banking industry, initial there were wages. So there was a dispute among the unions. And what was the dispute?
It went to in terms of banks have ability to pay more, but they are not paying. And that went to the tribunals.
They had the more capacity to pay.
So
ultimately, they were sent to the tribunals. What were the two tribunals?
Desai Award and Shastri Award.
Okay. Now what is the process?
Now it is bipartite settlement through IBA and banks, where IBI represents uh, government and bank management, whereas union represent employees.
For how much per period?
5 years.
Okay. See, performance appraisal is must according to FLIPO. According to FLIPO, performance appraisal is must. Right?
Yes.
So the need for performance appraisal, there are 3 reasons for that. First is judgment. You know, to fall judgment for what? Salary, promotions.
Promotion and transfers.
Okay. Second is development.
Development. Yes. It is
to strengthen the attitude, behavior, and skill of the employee.
Yes.
Third is the feedback.
Feedback.
So that the necessary counseling can be given. Okay. Okay. There are 6 steps for. There are 6 steps for what?
Job. For
performance.
Sorry.
For performance appraisal, 6 steps. First is setting standards.
Communicating them, communicating. Measurement.
Absolutely.
Setting benchmarks.
Then benchmarks. Very good.
Deviations.
Fifth is absolutely deviations.
And taking corrective measures.
Absolutely. So these are the things. So Jigar, that was all that we have covered in the second part of HRM. And I'm sure it must have helped you to understand the concepts much better.
Yes, sir. Indeed. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So, Nishanji?
Yes, sir. There is no question because
no question.
Because we have 3 participants on Zoom and YouTube, there is no question from participants. So any message from you to our YouTube channel viewers, because JIB papers are going on and CAIIB is also coming in next week.
So I wish all the best to all the employees. Just keep your cool, carry your own water, do carry your own mask, be very careful, and give your examination, come out with flying colors and enjoy the life. Thank you, Nishanji. Thank you, Jigar.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. And thanks the viewers.
Now, I want to thank Dr. Ashwini sir to give his valuable time for this lecture. I want to thank Razaji to be with us in technical team. I want to thank Jigarji, who is a student of the day in today's class. And last but not the least, all the viewers of our YouTube channel, thank you. Good night. See you tomorrow at 3 p.m. with next webinar.